Welcome. So this is going to be a pretty short video. I mostly wanted to introduce you to this thing called the Sports Card Forum through the Mail Manager if you were interested in trying to learn how to send cards off to athletes and other celebrities to get them signed through the mail. Let's get into this. All right, so I just recently discovered this website and I thought it was really cool. When I was a kid, I used to, I would send cards off to several times to Penny Hardaway, to Nick Van Exel, to a few other players, a bunch of baseball players as well, a couple football players. I never once got a response back. I think I probably sent off 100 cards, spent quite a lot of money on the stamps and putting in a self-addressed stamped envelope and then the card, and I never once got a single return back. So I never really thought about it as something as I got back into sports cards that I might want to try again. But I've been learning more and more that there's ways to do this. And it's a lot of fun. It's potentially a lot of fun, I should say. I loved this when I was a kid. Even though I got a 0% success rate, it was still an enjoyable process. So I wanted to introduce you to this website because I think it's going to be very helpful as I'm getting ready for my very first time trying this. So, if you come to this website, sportscardforum.com, and then you'll click here on the TTM Manager. They have a main website here you can look through, and it's just, good forums about everything, a bunch of sports card related stuff. But if you click on TTM Manager, it takes you. You'll want to eventually do a registration. I logged out of my account just so you could see what it looks like if you haven't logged in, but you'll log in and everything. Now, once you get here, the thing that's really helpful about this is you can actually find athletes and other people who are more likely to respond. So for example, I love basketball. So let me go over to basketball. These are the top 25 most common responders. You can see here that like Dirk Nowitzki, for example, 681 people have had success sending him cards. 93% of the submissions that went to him came back success. And you can see, so this is the top 25. So if you go into, let's say Dirk, because he's somebody I would love to have an autograph of. You can't see right now the address because I'm logged out. That's one of the reasons I logged out, because you need to log in and everything. That way, if you actually try this, they want you to track your success through them as well, which is great. I think that really helps. So there'll be an address in this spot, and then you can go through and see, if it's working or not. So you can see a lot of the more recent ones to this address are failures, or pending, failure, unsigned. So a lot of these ones are failures. So even though he has a very high success rate, it looks like a lot of it is from, all of it really is from like 2020 and earlier. So what I find is if that happens, okay, maybe he has a different address. So oftentimes if you scroll down past this one, let's see if Dirk's one of these guys who has more than one address. Whoa, this is a long list of successes before 2020. Wow, look at that. Just keeps going. Dirk has signed a lot. Okay, so if you keep going, then there'll eventually be other addresses in here. So this one was added in 2011. There's only one pending and one failure, so probably not likely. This one also, this one had a success. Look at that. Somebody put in a $10 donation to his foundation, $10 donation to his foundation. So now it looks much more likely that this is the place. There would be an address here if you log in. Where if you send in a $10 donation, $15 donation, this person sent in a $5 donation but did not get it. So probably means some of these players actually request or require you to send in a donation. So it looks like maybe Nowitzki's doing that now, although this address here looks like didn't either. Oh, because this is his address in Germany. So anyway, you can go through, and each player has. You don't want to just automatically look at the top. You want to look at the most recent successes and see what's possible. And then you can do that with a bunch of players. So this is just the top 25, most common, the ones who have the most number of successes. But you can also just generally go to a player list and find any person that you might be interested in. So for example, Damian Lillard is my favorite current player. It looks like he never has responded here. So I have some pendings and some failures. So not a whole lot, although it does look like there was one added pretty recently that only has one person sent, so maybe that would work. Who knows? Doubt it, but possibly. So you can look up different players, and then if you look up some of the older players too. When I was a kid, I used to collect. Let's look at Nick Van Exel here. There he is, 20% success rate. The most recent one was 2017. Okay, a bit less likely. What I was doing when I was looking for addresses, because first I went through some of the names of players that would be my favorite ones to have an autograph for, and then I went through just letter by letter and organized it by last success. That way, and then I started looking through, okay, these people were all getting successes quite recently, and then I found a few names, through here that I thought would be fun. Just as a side note here, if you do decide that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would be a fun one to get, there's actually a very specific place to do that. Let me show you. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has his own website called Make Your Own Kareem Memorabilia. So this one, if you go here, the link is, maybe I'll share it down below in the description. But you can go here and you can make your own memorabilia. So you can actually choose something. So you can buy one of his graded rookie cards for this price, or one of these other cards, different cards to choose from, or a jersey, or different options, different prices for each option. Replica trophy, all these things. So you'll choose that. You'll make some notes. You'll choose the color you want, where you want it to be. Any other additional things you want them to write, you pay extra for that. Any custom inscriptions, do you want them to add a video for it for an extra $100? And then you can add it to the cart and actually get your own memorabilia made. So he's got quite an interesting one here. You can look through. It's kind of a fun site. It's not cheap. I mean, it's definitely not a cheap way to go about it, but it is Kareem. So I'm guessing that this probably means Kareem has a lot of autographs out there. There is another website that tells you, who has a lot of autographs out there, so you can kind of decide if you all wanted to, if it was worth it or not. But anyway, so this is the Kareem one if you wanted Kareem. Yeah, so then you can go through and just find players. They've got hockey, baseball, basketball, football, golf, racing, other sports, soccer, and then also non-sports. So whoever you want to have, you can go in. A lot of the addresses for a lot of these players, if they're current players, is just the team address, and you do like CO, the player's name. Some of them are private addresses. I would look as you go through these. Some of them have little instructions. Some of them make specific mention if they want a donation or something like that, or and where to do the donation, or if there's a different process to go about. Like, let's see, for example, I'm sure a lot of people would want somebody like a Tom Brady autograph, and so of course he probably gets inundated. So he has a 11% success rate and really hasn't had any successes in a long time. But let's see, I remember seeing that the ones that were successful were the people who had sent in, let's see, oh no, these are all failures. Pending, trying $100 donation and praying, sent a $100 check to his foundation, and he signed it. Okay, so that person sent in a $100 check. So a lot of these, for the bigger name players, they'll almost always require some kind of donation to something. So you'll need to look into that and see based on the players. But anyway, I just wanted to introduce you to this site just because I find it to be kind of cool. So I've been putting together a list of some different addresses, and I'm going to try this. I'll make a video in the future once I am actually trying this. I need to find the right cards for the players that I want to do, and I'll send a stack of these little envelopes with SASA or self-addressed stamped envelopes inside of it, and then ask I'll send it to my parents who are in the US, and then have them send it off to everybody, and then see if anything happens. If I get one single response with an autograph card, it would be worth it, because I've tried this 100 times as a kid and have a 0% success rate. So if I can get one autograph through the mail of a player that I really like, I would be so happy. So anyway, I'll do that at some point and let you know. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.